let's get started on your reading. See how everyone's doing. I hope you're doing pretty well. Let's find out. With the water, guys. Little fish. Alright. So, current energy for Pisces. All my cards dropping already. So Spirit definitely has a message for you today. Let's find out what it is. Your life is a canvas. Artist, manifestation, creativity, and creative accountability. So this is, I'm definitely talking to an artist, a creator of some sort. And being an artist, that's kind of how we, make shit happen in manifestation. You need to be able to use the same visualization, the same emotional expression, right? That's where manifestation comes from. It literally is an art to manifest. So let's see what you're manifesting. Three of Swords in reverse. Healing. Healing might be important. Let's go deeper. I want to know why this is here when asked about manifestation. Right? You might be seeking to healing more than just your heart, but like your finances, your life, your everything, right? So let's see. Nine of Swords in reverse. The Wounded Warrior in reverse. I kind of like this with the Three of Swords in reverse and the Nine of Swords in reverse. It definitely feels like you're coming from having hurt a lot to really taking initiative to heal and neutralize those feelings within yourself. Okay. So healing is a really big deal right now. You could be healing more than just your wounds from this lifetime, too. It could be generational curses. It could be ancestral shit, too. Let's see. King of Cups in reverse. See, here it is. Alright, King of Cups in reverse, that's you. Right? That's the Pisces energy. King of Cups is a king of water. But something here is out of balance. Right? And I feel like that's what's really triggering this, healing, from all the hurt, the trauma, the bullshit that you've gone through. It's it's gotten to a point where you can't just sit by and allow yourself to depreciate is, kind of the word that's coming to mind, but I feel like that's not the right word. Could be. But it's like you don't want to get lost in depression, anxiety, worry, fear, doubt, insecurity. It's like you're trying to come out of all of that. You're trying to reach a point where you're feeling joy again, right? Just naturally. Well, what needs to occur to get you to the point? Well, that's crazy. um, we have Five of Swords, conflict, but also the Five of Swords can refer to asserting yourself, and not being afraid of conflict, right? Not being afraid to speak your mind on a matter, not being afraid of the repercussions. With the King of Swords showing up, right? You could be on the cusp of like Aquarius and Pisces. But this is the energy, or you could, I'm just saying because of air energy. But it's like you're more in your head than in your heart these days. And it's really, I feel this energy of needing to confront what is wrong. Because if we just sit there and ignore what's wrong over and over and over, we just manifest more of what's wrong. Ace of Pentacles. This is like wanting a new start in life, or wanting to like start a new cycle, do something different. This is like wanting things to change, like drastically, and unfortunately I feel like the thing that is going to trigger your healing is, when we repress things for too long, and then like it's kind of like an over pressurized bottle and the cork flies off, right? And then whatever liquid just spews out of it, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing here, is that like eventually you're gonna get so fed up with something that's wrong in your life that you're gonna confront it head on. King of Swords is like somebody who shows up with the sword, ready to cut shit off, ready to assert themselves, ready to confront what is wrong. Right? That is the word that comes to mind with the Five of Swords, is confrontation. Like you need to confront something. The Chariot in reverse, Cancer energy. Feeling stuck, feeling like something's not moving, feeling like bottled up. Bottled up. Sometimes this could even be from your childhood, needing to confront like a parental figure, needing to, whatever the case is, it's like you feel emotionally like kind of stuck. You're trying to manifest this healing in your life, this like moving past it. But it looks like the more that you try to move away from what hurt you, the more you're being faced with the need to confront what hurt you. The High Priestess in reverse, another Pisces card, right? This is all about doubt. Not taking divine guidance. right? Like you could be it's like you don't want to. You don't want to have to confront this. King of Wands in reverse tells me that there's something not being communicated, right? There's something not being confronted here about a problem, right? Six of Cups in reverse. You try to block this out of your memory, or you try not to think about it. You try not to dwell. And the thing is that's not actually healing, right? If you get shot in the stomach, you could put a bandage over it, right? And be like, okay, I'm good, da 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 da. But is it really good? No, it's going to get infected. It's going to start festering. The bullet's still in there. There's still a lot of pain. There's all that shit. So what you're being confronted with on a spiritual level is you need to rip the bandage off. You need to assess what's wrong. You need to cover it in like, you need to clean it, you know, you need to clean it. You need to pull the bullet wound out, or the bullet out of your wound. You need to address it and then suture it back up, you know, and then put the bandage on. But you can't skip from like hurt to bandage, right? You have to, from shot to bandage. No, you have to do that. You have to assess the damage. You have to confront what's wrong. We have the Ten of Cups and the Empress showing up. The Empress is a creator, right? And the Ten of Cups is about emotional abundance, right? So you might feel like if you're in a relationship or something, you might feel like you might be burdening your partner by having these feelings of despair and sorrow, or by feeling defeated or feeling, depression, because I feel like you look at them and they look pretty happy and fulfilled in their life, right? And the Empress being like the divine feminine, to you showing up as the divine masculine, or a masculine, I should say. The divine masculine is all kings in the upright. So I feel like you're still kind of struggling to like separate your material self from your soul self. It's not to say that you're not a divine masculine. It's just saying that right now you need to get in touch with your divinity. But it looks like you're going through like this like war zone inside your head or inside yourself. Meanwhile, your partner is like, everything's great. We got everything we need. All our needs are met. Everything's good. Da 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 da. And it's like you're still reeling from some shit. Shit you don't like to think about. Shit you wish you could forget, right? It's almost like somebody who's gone to war, or like, who's been in like a really intense situation like that, or just had a really traumatic childhood, and you're like, everything should be all right, but internally everything does not feel all right. And maybe you don't communicate anymore with the person who is the source of your pain, right? I don't even like saying that because I like personal accountability on these kinds of things, but how I'm seeing it is this is something that could go back into your childhood, right? Somebody could have hurt you as a child, and you might still be like dealing with that on some level. And then trying to have like this normal life and act like everything is fine, but there's something that keeps coming up, right, emotionally. What's your advice from Spirit? advice. I love that the universe came out. The universe indicates that the universe is sending a specific message to you. Then we have the Foolish Man in reverse and the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles is confronting the spirit of lack. If you feel like something is lacking in your life, you need to address that. But the Fool in reverse tells me that you're also afraid to change things because you're afraid that you will be in a position of lack if you confront it. So, continue. Seven of Wands. There are many different ways to accomplish this. There are different paths that you can take, right? You're not limited. It's not like there's only one way to go in life. What's your best option? The Hanged Man and the Nine of Cups. This emotional burden is what holds you up from this feeling of abundance, right? It's like having all your needs met, all the things. You're an excellent manifester. Something needs to be confronted. Something holds you up emotionally. What is it? Well, I mean, I see what it is. But, like, how do we fix it? You don't want to hurt somebody. You feel like you would be hurting somebody if you confront this, or if you talk about what is bugging you emotionally. We have Nine of Swords, Nine of Cups, Nine of Wands. This is like reaching towards the end of a cycle here. But the Nine of Wands and the Queen of Swords in reverse is like you're afraid of hurting a divine feminine. Maybe because of what your wish fulfillment would be. What is your wish fulfillment? The card flew. I'll be right back. Knight of Pentacles. Pentacles. Alright, I'm gonna stop pulling cards for a second and just kind of talk about this. I feel like you need to get a journal and be really specific about, for one, we need to assess what is causing these feelings, right? This feeling of lack, doubt, insecurity, fear, the things that trigger you, the things that put you in a negative headspace, the things that create this anxiety in your life. That's something that needs to be addressed. So address it with yourself. Write it down in full detail. And then I want you to burn it, right? Or bury it, whatever, get rid of it. You need to let it out. And then I want you to think about the things that make you happy, right? The things that bring joy in your life, and write those out in full detail, right? Even down to the most minuscule thing. If it's a poppy seed muffin, those bring me joy. So but really go in depth about that, and that's the list I want you to keep. All right, and every day have gratitude for those things, right? And add to that list, right? If new things pop up that bring gratitude and joy into your life, add those, right? But I want you to reflect more on the things that are healing and bring joy into your life, rather than focusing so heavily on this past energy that it feels like you can't get any resolution from, right? Because the resolution needs to happen within yourself. You need to let the past die within yourself. But you also need to confront it. You need to confront what is wrong and allow yourself to, validate yourself in that way. That, your feelings are valid, your pain is valid, but you don't have to suffer anymore, right? You no longer need to be a victim of your past. In the book, The Four Agreements, it talks about this a little bit, where it talks about how, every other species on the planet, they make a mistake, or, they make a mistake in life, and they pay for it once, right? Just once. But humans, if they make a mistake or something horrible has been done to them, they pay for that millions of times, right? They go back, they relive it in their mind, they go through all that nonsense, and allow the abuse to perpetuate within them. And so, really, I feel like you need to stop focusing on the things that hurt you and focus on the things that heal you. All right, the things that really make life better. The things that, really draw out the best of you. I'm going to pull some Kali cards. But I just feel that what you're going through is some deep-seated repression. And sometimes just crying isn't enough to let it out. Sometimes you need to face it. You need to be like, this is actually what's wrong, right? And then fix it from there. But also, don't disregard the good in your life, because I do see good in your life, and I do see people showing up for you in certain ways and being a support to you. And you don't want to risk losing them as a result of this, right? Of the, and I mean, I know that sounds fucked up, but like, you don't. I've lost people because I couldn't get out of my triggered self or my unhealed self, in the past. And it's unfortunate, it happens. And I learned that when I started focusing on the people and the things that make me happy, I started getting more of that, right? More of that started seeping into my life. So, and if you're like, this is almost where therapy is kind of a problem. And I probably shouldn't, I'm the last person to kind of say this, but like therapy kind of, I mean, it's nice that they make you look at like the source of your trauma and what's wrong, but the fact that they have you reevaluate it over and over and over, like you should get it out once, pay for it once, and then move forward. It shouldn't be a constant like going back to the wound and like poking and prodding at it without really fixing it. The best way to get out of this mindset is to change your mindset. You want different outcomes, do everything differently. Like change your mind, change your life. What is that book? There's one by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it's all about, oh fuck, what is it called? It's something about, oh my god, come to me. The word becoming keeps showing up in my head, but anyway, you could look up any of Dr. Joe Dispenza's stuff. I feel like all of his stuff would be really beneficial to you. But it's basically, he teaches that like if we stay in the same cognitive mindset, right, we keep like flowing on these lower vibrations and we keep only thinking about that shit, like only thinking about the negatives, because humans have a natural like negative bias in their brain, right? And so it's always like looking at the worst case scenario or all the things that could go wrong and all that stuff. In the book Outwitting the Devil, it kind of talks about that, where the devil says, I am the negative side of the atom, right? So as necessary is a positive side for creation. And so we have both within us. And really, which wolf are you going to feed? Are you going to feed the one that perpetuates negativity in you, or are you going to feed the one that perpetuates positivity? And I'm not talking about toxic positivity. I'm talking about real positivity, where shit might go wrong, shit might suck, but you still have it in your head and your heart that if you keep going, you could succeed. It's like, I'm a teacher, right? So when kids get frustrated with math problems, something I see pretty often is they just want to give up, right? They just want to start crying, giving up. I'll never learn, da, 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 da. And then literally like 2 seconds later, after having this huge tantrum about how they can't figure it out, they figure it out, right? And I feel like you can't have like a defeatist mentality. You have to be like, you know what, so something didn't work out, let's try another way, like, but the longer you sit there and you dwell on what didn't work out, the longer it's going to take you to figure out what does, right? Optimism doesn't state that bad shit never happens and you'll never catch a bad feeling. Optimism states that, hey, even if I get in a bad feeling or I, in this negative mindset, I can get myself right out. Mantra Shakti. Do not allow negative thoughts or speech to undermine your inner spiritual connection. Claim your voice and your power to express yourself from your heart. Though it may not yet be visible in your physical world, a new order is generating within the soul, and in time it shall manifest in a transformation that heals your inner world and improves your physical life circumstances too. Also, going back to the Five of Swords, if you can confront the person, right? If there's nothing really holding you back from that, if that person is alive or you can confront them, whoever hurt you, do it. Like, if you're a parent, rope in there, right? Sometimes we gotta confront them about some shit. Sometimes we have to confront them about the abuse, the neglect, the bullshit. And they need that for their healing as well. So I feel like if you absolutely can address the problem with the people you you need to address it with, I feel like you should, because it's no longer about you getting, asking for amends with other people. Now it's kind of you going and being like, why did you hurt me? Why did you, whatever. And oftentimes, the answers are not going to be what we like. But you get an answer nonetheless. And it helps you heal from that, right? Like, my mom was super abusive most of my life, right? Very narcissistic. Put me through hell. And confronting her was the hardest shit, especially with the gaslighting and then the attempted love bombing and the bullshit that went with that. And now we don't talk, right? But that doesn't mean necessarily that that I shouldn't have done it, because I feel like we both learned something. I learned that my mom was acting from a place within herself that, like, that she only knew, right? Like, I guess that's the best way to put it. Like, she was raised that way, so that's the way that she thought she could raise me, and, like, I'm different, and I was like, all that bullshit really didn't need to happen to me. But it did happen, so I guess it did need to happen. But, like, there comes, like, a point in our lives where we have to be like, go to the abuser. And if it's a situation where, like, it's your ex-wife or ex-husband, you have a no contact, or like, it's dangerous to contact them for whatever reason, Stockholm's or whatever, then that's where I would say, if it's not a safe thing for you to confront them person to person, write it down and confront it in spirit, and do that within yourself, because sometimes that is a situation. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for you. I hope this was helpful. This was pretty deep. Namaste. I love you guys, and I will catch you later.